Hi everyone, my name's Cara. Here we are with the Broommaker sisters, my household that I am using to play Reaper's Rewards, but as you can see, they don't have a house yet, so we're gonna build it. This is going to be a speed build video, so I'm gonna build it now, take however long I need. This will be posted separately, and then we can continue the Reaper's Rewards event with a house already built. So here we go. Let's say goodbye to the face cam for now. Goodbye face cam and muting the mic. And hello again to the face cam in commentary mode. We are into our speed build now. This is, I think, only the second speed build that I've ever done and finished to put out there. So this is only the second time I'm doing commentary over a speed build. This section is about 20 minutes long, and if you know me from my other channel or from at any point in the last decade that I've been on YouTube, you know that 20 minutes is not a problem at all for me to just talk about things. But in this case, we're going to talk about this build. So I really was not sure what I wanted to do here. I did not go into this with a particular plan. I had no floor plan already in mind. I just knew it's going to be a house for these two sisters who are going to be spellcasters, and they're going to be doing the Reaper's Reward stuff. So I do have Life and Death. I wanted to use that new Life and Death door, so that's the first thing I put there. I did consider a couple of times doing something different, not using that door, because it was kind of hard to match with other things at first, but we end up keeping the door. It's kind of all around the door. But I didn't like the Life and Death windows for this in particular, so I end up going to something completely different with Realm of Magic mostly. But at this point in the build, I still was not sure quite what I wanted to do. I'm trying to do a very different style with a little bit of a third floor happening here and the roofs to the side. I end up completely changing that and going with a different look because, I mean, look at this right now. This looks ridiculous. That's way too tall. I tried doing it different ways. It just didn't look right. So I redo this part. I undo it. We do something different. Now it looks like a magic barn, which might be cool for another Let's Play, but is not the vibe that I wanted here. So I was playing with different things for this little mini section of the roof over the doorway. I end up keeping that, but not like that. We do go with this roof texture, which is from Life and Death, and the stone walls, which are from Life and Death, I believe. But everything else pretty much changes a million times. I always underestimate how long it takes me to build a house. This one ends up being about a 3-hour build, and just trying to figure out the floor plan took a lot of time. I redo this several times. I made the house bigger, I made the house smaller, I cut off that whole back section. There was really a lot of back and forth here. Luckily, we have our new stair tools, so I could put the stairs in this L shape in the entryway. That's about the only room that I kind of knew what I wanted it to look like. I wanted the stairs to be right in the entryway, to have this sort of proper entrance space, hallway. A lot of places that I've lived in don't have that, so it's not necessarily that I think that's particularly realistic as opposed to anything else. It's just kind of how it was. Really tripped me up in the upstairs though, because I wanted there to be space on both sides, so I'm moving it out again, making it bigger, making it smaller, trying to figure out where multiple bedrooms are gonna go for each of these two sisters. That little cutout right there that I just did, that becomes very important because that sort of, even though I redo it and put things back together a different way, that little cutout effect ends up being a big part of the upstairs because I think it helps a lot to break up the flat walls, have the doors in places that sort of make sense. I originally was going to put a bathroom in the upstairs. That lower right-hand corner was going to be the upstairs bathroom. That ends up not happening, and there's only a bathroom downstairs. But later on in the Let's Play, spoilers, but later in this series, I do end up adding a little half bath to the upstairs because it's really important to have that a little bit closer for the gameplay. especially if you had more than 2 Sims in the house. I don't know how I did it for the first part with just the one bathroom downstairs for the 2 of them when a lot of what they were doing was upstairs for the most part. I guess I had it pretty evenly split. We've got Amara working on the cooking, and she's also working on writing for that ghost historian aspiration, and I end up putting the desk in the working area upstairs, which you'll see later. I also have already recorded the tour of this build. I recorded that as I was building it, so you'll see the past version of me from the intro to this video, again at the end giving you the tour. And then Sydney is working mostly on the gardening, so she does spend a lot of time downstairs, but then the bedroom is upstairs, and if they both wake up around the same time, they have to use the bathroom at the same time, so it's really just easier if there's 2, but hey, realistic having to share bathrooms with people. See, we've got that little cutout here again in the upstairs, and I've made the back corner of the house into a little balcony. That is where I've put the second cauldron. There's a cauldron downstairs as well. I don't remember if I've placed it or not at this point. But I made this bigger space. Yeah, there's the cauldron downstairs. I made that bigger space in the upstairs into their whole kind of work, study, and entertainment area. So it has a lot more space around the staircase, and their bedrooms are up there, and then that little balcony. The balcony does end up changing as well throughout the Let's Play, the way that I use it. I put some different activity stuff up there. But for now, it has some decor and a cauldron. And then down here we're putting in the kitchen, which is very important since cooking and gourmet cooking are big aspects of this challenge in learning to make ambrosia. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time making sure that looked nice and functional. Putting in some doors here to make sure that we can get everywhere. And this changed around a lot too. I initially wanted to have multiple entrances into that sitting room, and the dining space was going to go here in the center, which is where that ends up going. But it was a little bit too tight to also have a second entrance to the sitting room. So you'll see I end up getting rid of that second archway. I was going to use this Realm of Magic dining table, but it was too big. So we end up changing that as well, going with the paranormal stuff seance chairs, which I love. I remember having chairs like that growing up at my great aunt and great uncle's house. They had the chairs like that with the sort of wicker woven seat and back. I really like those. They come in lots of different colors. So we use those at the dining table. We end up going with a life and death dining table that is a little bit shorter. And we have Realm of Magic wallpapers throughout everything. That's Realm of Magic flooring there as well. Now we're changing some of the colors using the dark wood vibes. Took me a while to find the tile that matches this tile wallpaper for the bathroom. I, for some reason, was not expecting it to be the one that it is. It's one of those very basic base game tiles that looks pretty dated, but when I actually see it together with the wall tile, I'm like, oh, that gives it a very different look. I don't think I ever realized that it was part of this matching set with that tiled wallpaper, so I like that. Doing the little downstairs bathroom now, which ends up being very important because it ends up being the only bathroom that gets put in this house right now until much later. Couldn't find any room for the windows that I wanted. I end up turning move objects on at some point because there are some things that I just could not fit where I wanted them to be. In the sitting room, I decided to go for the rounded archway style Realm of Magic windows. So those end up being kind of the feature windows and then the square versions that match everywhere else. So we have these arched ones on the front, which I think looks really good with the rounded arched frame of this door as well. Finding a swatch that sort of kind of matches between the Life and Death door and the Realm of Magic windows and door. That back door is a Realm of Magic one as well, and I put the same one at the balcony up top. And then we are making the roof piece over the doorway rounded as well to kind of match that. So it ends up not looking terrible, but I definitely went through a few different iterations of this before I came up with what I wanted to do here. Roofs are notoriously difficult in The Sims 4, but I've learned a lot of tricks from watching other people, ways that you can move just one side and the other and get them to match so they connect seamlessly like that. That's pretty good. They're not the exact same height, but I think it looks pretty good. I was having a weird glitch with the chimneys where they were all going in sideways. And then I finally found one that didn't, and then it kind of fixed it. They all worked properly after that point. I also had to lower one of them down at some point because it was getting stuck with like a foot of space between it and the roof, even though it was like locking into a space. So I had to use the raise and lower keys. I don't know if that's because I had move objects on or off during this time or what happened, but that was a weird little glitch that I had to deal with. Speaking of glitches, we're putting in some front landscaping now, but speaking of glitches, a little bit of a sneak peek or like information, I guess, about the upcoming Let's Play, the rest of Reaper's Rewards. Unfortunately, yes, I do get some more glitches. Oh, and there's another one here in build mode. All of my terrain paints that have like a tiled look were showing up diagonal. It showed it just a little bit ago. I went through a few different ones. I was going to use some of the tiled terrain paint, but it was all showing up offset from the actual grid, and it looked really weird because then it was always breaking off the tiles in the middle. So that's why I ended up just going with gravel terrain paints. Has anybody else been seeing that weird like diagonal terrain paint glitch? But anyway, throughout the rest of this Reaper's Rewards series, I do end up with a few glitches with the Reaper's Rewards event. I kind of feel lucky that the Reaper's Rewards event worked for me at all, because I know when it started at the end of September, some people just couldn't get it to work in their game at all from launch. So it did work for me, I just didn't have a lot of time to play it for a long time. I actually moved across the country during the time that the Reaper's Rewards event was live. But once I started playing, I do end up with a pretty significant glitch at the end of week 1. It wouldn't go into week 2. So there's going to be an episode that's kind of an interlude of me just doing some things to continue the gameplay for a bit while I figure things out. But I did figure that out. I got to play through the whole rest of the event. There is another glitch a bit later, I think in like week 3 or week 4. I have an issue with one of the quest steps that kept glitching out. So it took me about 3 times as long to finish that week's gameplay for the quests because I had to redo one of the quests multiple times. But after that, it's smooth sailing. I was able to finish the entire thing. I don't think that's too much of a spoiler because I think you pretty much expect that. Anybody who did a playthrough of Reaper's Rewards, we're expecting that we've been able to finish it. So don't worry, I do get to finish it, but there are some glitches along the way. Back to this sitting room. I love this little sitting room. I tried for a while, you saw there. I was going for maybe a different, like, modern style love seat, but I end up going with this fancier pattern stuff. It just looks so much nicer with the Realm of Magic wallpaper, with the beautiful ornate floors and the rug, and I just think it worked really well. This is a beautiful little space. It's just for, like, reading, warming by the fire, having a little conversation. There's no TV in this space. That ends up in the upstairs. I put a little drinks tray there and one of the new art pieces from Life and Death. I know I'm going to repeat some of this in the tour at the end of this video because I remember that I said this when I did the tour when I first built it, but that's what I'm here to share in the speed build portion too, so forgive me, there will be some things repeated, but that's okay because you might be missing some of what I'm saying now, so I'll say it again later. This little curio cabinet, on the back wall there, I ended up going with gray. That is from Realm of Magic. I didn't know how I was going to actually use that for this series when I put it there. I figured I would be putting Realm of Magic things in it, but it ends up being very useful for the Reaper's Rewards. So that was very fun. We have some different tile now under the kitchen cauldron there. And now we're putting some things in the backyard. I know that a big part of this event is working on gardening, and I knew that Sydney was going to be the one doing that, so I just wanted to put some plant things back here to get the idea started that they are going to be doing some gardening. And then we're using Life and Death wallpapers in the bedrooms. I tried a few different swatches of that wallpaper. It's actually the same wallpaper that has a lot of different swatches. The one that's currently on the right-hand wall there has owls, and I love it, but I didn't end up going with that one for this build, so I will be using it in other builds. I really like this little area that I built right outside Sydney's bedroom here with the little table in this nook right next to the stairs. It's such a kind of lost space if you don't do anything else with it. So there's nothing gameplay wise there, but I like the idea of just having a little table there, because if it was me, that would be like where I would put a bowl where I'd put like my keys and things like that I might need to take when I'm leaving my room, drop off when I'm on my way back. So I like the idea of having that little table right there. I can see that being a very realistic thing that I would do if I lived in this space. Trying to figure out the sitting area was interesting because there's not quite enough room, but I make it work. We end up trying a few different things, different chairs, and then going with one of the more modern love seats. This one is from Paranormal Stuff. I have a lot of this sort of red and gold going on, this like burgundy. It's a very nice color in the items that it comes in. The Realm of Magic paintings here, this was annoying to me because the third variation of the painting doesn't come in the same frame color. I never noticed that before. There's different frame colors and there's 3 different illustrations on that item, but you can't get all 3 illustrations in the same color of frame. So I gave up. I only have 2 of them, and I put something else on the other wall. I knew I wanted to have a bookshelf here because they were going to need that, but the tall ones weren't fitting. I put this one that is there right now, and I didn't like the colors of it, and it took me a while to realize that's like the kids or teens colored version. There is also a version that has more plain wood swatches, so I end up switching that out here when I find that in the catalog. I went with the blue writing desk because it's fun. I don't know. I love, in real life, I love having antiques and all kinds of different things that I have found at antique stores, thrift stores, secondhand stores, things like that. So realistically, most people's furniture and like wood tones and colors don't match exactly. I have so many different things all the time. So that blue I just thought would be a very fun touch. Now we're decorating a little bit in Sydney's room. I also didn't know what I wanted to put in here because I don't have them spend a lot of time in their bedrooms other than sleeping. So I just put a chair in there, which Amara ends up sitting in more than anything, and a little dresser. And I put some curtains on the windows because we had a new swatch update on these curtains kind of recently. It took a while to get them placed properly on those windows, but I did it. And I wanted to give Sydney a little bit more color in this room, but there's no purple swatch on the bed. So I went with this dusty rose one, and I talk about that more in the tour at the end, so you'll hear more about that. Put some magic items down here, and then we're moving over to Amara's room, which is just blue on blue on blue. I really leaned into the blue. I like doing that with my Sims. I think it makes it fun for me. It also makes it kind of easier for me that I sort of pick a few colors that I think are that Sim's favorite, and then they wear a lot of that color with maybe different specific color accents. I know it maybe isn't the most realistic, like most people aren't just wearing their favorite color all the time to the exclusion of anything else. But in The Sims, it helps me because there's so many things to choose from, and I just think it's an easy way to go about things, and it kind of makes them a little more of a character, right? So it's like Sydney is the one who's going to be wearing purple and black a lot. Amara's the one who's in blue all the time. And I do wear a lot of my favorite color personally, so I know it's not too far off to like put somebody in a lot of their favorite color, but I don't do a lot of having them wear something totally different. Here's a nice overhead of the floor plan at the moment. trying to get a rug in the upstairs space. Ended up with this round base game one, and then a runner along this wall. In the last little bit of our speed build here, I end up putting one of the tarot artworks on this wall, which is funny because I've been saying the whole time that I play with walls half down, so these interior walls I never really see, but I put some tarot art here, and I have a whole separate video on this channel where I paused here in the building and went through all of the tarot card art, so I have a separate video going through all of that. So here we have our little house done. I've been building this for almost 3 hours. I sort of completely restarted at first. I don't know what I thought I was doing. I was making it way too big. It made no sense. It's still kind of a goofy looking house, I'll give you that. So let's give us a brief tour. When we come in the doors, we just have a very simple traditional entryway. There's a little table with some stuff on it. I put the Fool tarot card art from Life and Death at the base of the stairs there. There's a coat rack, and then there are arches going into the next rooms. So over here to the left of our entrance is kind of a formal sitting room. There's no TV in here. It's for sitting and chatting. It's very narrow space. So we've got an armchair and a love seat, a little drinks tray between them. I did not put curtains on any of these windows. You are absolutely correct. I will keep adding more as I play with the house, I think. Didn't bother putting anything on this wall because I'll probably play with the walls like down most of the time. So I decorated this one above the fireplace because that's just a whole vibe. But otherwise I mostly focused on the outside walls because that's what I'll be able to see most of the time. But I just love this. I think this looks so nice. I wanted to have a fireplace in here. Got the tools. We have a little cow plant, Realm of Magic art. And this painting above the love seat is one of the new paintings from Life and Death with these sort of bluish purple roses. I love that so much. We're using Realm of Magic wallpaper as well. So coming in the other archway from the entry, we have the kitchen and dining area. So we have a little dining area with paranormal stuff chairs and a Life and Death table. The Realm of Magic table is too long. I didn't want to use the super long one. Our kitchen, however, has a bunch of Realm of Magic slash, like, the same look stuff. The very, like, old school off the grid looking stuff. There's a lot of blank spaces like this. I don't know what to put there yet. I'll keep adding things as I go, but I've been building for so long and I'm so tired. I just want to be done. But I think that's very cute. I've got the curio cabinet here waiting for their collectibles. I'll fill that up as they go. And there's a little cauldron over here for their brews. This is one of 2 cauldrons in the space. Out the back door here, we have a little just stone as the patio and some plants, because this is where they're gonna end up planting a bunch of things outside. So for now, I just have a few things about that suggests that they already like to garden. They've got some plants happening. In the back, we have a fire pit with some benches and a little picnic table that has a few odds and ends on it. That's about all I did here. I kept some of the original flowers in the landscaping and just moved them over here. And I added just a little bit of flowers on the front, as you saw before. And then the last room on this floor is the bathroom here. So we just have a little shower tub combo, some simple stuff. Oh, I hate that this item does this. It's so far away from the wall. Oh, it won't let me do it because I don't have move objects on. Okay, now I have move objects on, so I can scoot that further into the corner. There we go. Just a little simple bathroom. I didn't put any art on the walls because, again, you're not really going to see that wall. And I originally was going to put a bathroom upstairs too, but then I made everything a little bit smaller, so there's not room for one upstairs. So I am glad that I ended up with a shower tub combo down here because they're gonna need something. So if we go back to the entryway, that's where our stairs are. Page up, we come up to this little sitting area. This is the TV room rather than the formal sitting room downstairs. This is where they hang out more casually, watch TV. There's also a little study area. We have a desk with a computer. They have a bookshelf there. I put one of the new little incense burners on it. I'm excited to see if there's gameplay specifically associated with that. We have a crystal ball, a palmistry hand, This is all basically a mix of Life and Death and Realm of Magic. I decided to go with the Sun tarot card art, and I also recorded a video right here while I was doing that piece, going through all of the variations, all of the cards that were done for this item. I'm really excited because I am a tarot reader, so I love that they did tarot art. I'm sure there's information somewhere about who did the art, but I really just want to give them a huge congratulations. Not only is the art fantastic and fun and Sims themed, but like, you got to design a tarot deck to put in The Sims. That's amazing. Smushy cat. See, I've been building this house for so long that my cats are yelling at me because it is time to go to bed and get cozy very soon. We are almost done here. There's a few things on this table right here outside the bedroom just because it was kind of a weird shape, but I was committed to it. From the downstairs out this little back door is a balcony. There's no roof over top of it, so it's an open balcony with a second cauldron. There's a little light here. Oh, I didn't put outdoor lights. I need to get some outdoor lights around the place. I didn't do that. But again, I'll add more as I go too. I did not give myself a budget for this build, as you can see. We've got some herbs hanging over top. And then back in, we just have our 2 bedrooms. So this one off to the left is Sydney's room. Black and gray, little accents here and there. So there's a purple chair. I put white swags on the windows. And this is a new Life and Death bed. And there's not a purple swatch. I went with this sort of dusty red rose floral because, like I said, canonically in my world, Sydney has a red streak in her hair. I went with her favorite color being an accent of purple for her in The Sims, but occasionally I threw in a little bit of red because, you know, that still fits for her in my mind. Purple is my favorite color. I think that Sydney's favorite color might actually be red, and that's why she has red in her hair. But in The Sims, I went with purple. And then Amara's room has a different Life and Death wallpaper. These are both the same wallpaper actually, but different swatches. Sydney's has moths on it, and this one has the crows with the moonlight. I just went full on blue here. Blue, blue, blue. Gave her a little mirror. They both have the long mirror, the long horizontal mirror, and a dresser that looks a little worn down and a few clutter items on it. Not a lot in here. Pretty bare, and again, I'll usually play with the walls down, so I wasn't too worried about putting a lot of stuff on those interior walls that I'm not really gonna see. Could use something else up here though, but I don't know what yet. We'll figure it out. I have not play tested this yet, as far as like making sure that they can actually get around everything, but I think it's all fine. I do have the outdoor bin there, and then we have an indoor bin in the kitchen near the back door. Probably could use some more rugs. I usually always put a little rug in the bathroom. I'm surprised I didn't. Just a little something like that. You can use it when you get out of the bath or shower, but you can also put your feet on it if they're cold while you're just using the bathroom any other way. So yeah, definitely want to do more to this, but also have already been doing a lot. There is a little chimney as well. I put the chimney before I actually decided on the fireplace, but it works out. So that's going to do it for the build video. I will see you in the rest of the Reaper's Rewards event series. Thanks so much for watching and or listening. See you next time. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye for now.